It's back to hot and sunny weather here, and I thought today was the day that I'm gonna prune back the outdoor tomatoes. I mean, it's better when it's a bit sunny, so that way you cut dries better rather than it being on like a dull wet day. And what I'm doing is I'm removing all foliage below the first tomato truss, because I don't want all the water and the nutrient to be feeding those bottom leaves. I want the first thing it does is feed those tomatoes. Now the Naginas, I'm pleased with. They're an outdoor plum tomato and they're amazing. There's so many on here, and the same with the Crimson Crush. I've done all those, but yeah, I'm really pleased. There's a good 30-40 tomatoes on these outdoor Naginas. So normally I'd allow it in the tunnel to just to wrap around these canes, but because we're outdoors, the wind keeps knocking them off and I don't want them to snap. So a couple of little cable ties will just bring these plants back into where I want them to grow. Now I'm leaving quite a bit of space in the cable tie. I'm not putting them on too tight because obviously these stems will swell up, but I'm taking off all the suckers as well that keep appearing. So I thought I'd give you an update on the pumpkins. You know, these stray pumpkins that appeared from compost that I'd got from a compost bay, and I knew I'd put a few pumpkins in the autumn, so I think the seeds have germinated in here. But look, we've got these ones now that are half and half. A few people have said they're zephyr, but I never had that seed, so I think this is definitely some kind of cross-pollination. But look, over here, these are definitely some kind of cross-pollination of the zombie pumpkins that I had last year. I mean, look at all those goosebumps and stuff. I'm sure they'll look amazing on Halloween. It's absolutely beautiful here today. I mean, all the flowers now are coming into bloom. I mean, all the bees are loving it as well. But we lost the sunflower here, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe through that intense heat, but it just died off. But all the others are definitely thriving. This sunflower is a bit like a Venus flytrap. It hasn't quite opened up. It seems to have stayed close, and it seems like a little mouth, you know. But yeah, the bees seem to be snuggling inside there anyway. But yeah, that's weird. So the tomatoes are done. I'm going to pick up all the clippings that I had off them and pop that in the compost heap. But yeah, that's a job done now. I mean, the last thing you want really is to have them all closely together, and you want to give them as much airflow as possible. So now they're good to go. And these are the Nagina. There's quite a lot on all these trusses, and also over on this side the Crimson Crush, and if you can see over there, quite a few as well. So yeah, we're gonna have a good haul of tomatoes from this bed, I think. The sprouts are also doing really well. They're about 2 foot high now, and the leeks have now bedded in well. I'm gonna have to make this bed higher before long, and I've actually got from First Tunnels some extension poles for these hoops. So yeah, and I've also got like a spine for it as well, so I'll show you that in a future date. And a quick update on the corn. I mean, I've shown this a few times now, but they're starting to really bulk up now. I mean, they're doing well, and all you do is give the male part of the plant a little shake, and all the pollen will drop down onto each of these hairs. Now each one of these hairs represents a kernel inside the cob, so you want it to germinate all of these. So just give it a little shake. Wind tends to do most of it, but giving a little helping hand doesn't hurt. The tickle pink apples now are starting to bulk up, and I actually knocked one off, and I'll show you what it looks like inside now. They are absolutely beautiful, this dark red and, you know, hues of pink colour inside. But yeah, these won't be long. I'm excited about them. So yeah, I've waited a long time for this tree to give me some apples. And the same goes for the figs. There's so many figs on this tree now. I mean, look how big they are. They are huge. I mean, I can see a few now starting to turn over a little bit. Now, the way you know when figs are ready, they start feeling soft. So give them a little squeeze and then you'll kind of tell anyway. You kind of get used to it. They tend to have like these hues of purples and browns on them as well. And you'll just know to take them off before the squirrels get them. Now I've just left it attached on the one side. I might drop it over the other side yet, I'm not quite sure, because it is quite windy here at the moment. The last couple of nights have been, been quite windy on the site that we've actually lost a few polytunnel covers. But yeah, at least now it can get a bit more heat than it was. I mean, if the heat wave comes back again, I can always drop the drape back over, but for now, it's back off. Right, let's harvest some beans. You can go around these 3 or 4 times and still miss beans. But do you know what? They are very much welcome. There's some whoppers on you this time round. I'm so pleased with the beans. The only problem is, in between these trellises, is a bit of a magnet for the bees and the wasps. And I got stung the other day by foolishly popping my head through here to look for some beans, and got stung right on the back of the neck. So be careful. Learn from my mistakes. I also brought Louis up. Now I don't even know if Louis's been on the channel. I don't think he has. Louis's my other dog. Charlie's been on here a few times, but Louis came up. He caused a bit of a nuisance on the plot. I mean, don't dogs always do that? I mean, I wish he'd just sit there with a ball like Monty Don's dogs do, but no. Mine like to cause havoc on the plot. Now you want to harvest these around about 6 to 8 inches long, and they'll be nice and tender. Now how I peel them, and a lot of people say that they hate getting these ready and preparing them, but all I do is I get myself a bean, and all I do is I take the top off, take the bottom off, and then I use a potato peeler and I just run it down the edges just once, just to take the string out, and works for me. Now if your beans are starting to curl like this, it means that the watering's not quite right. But I mean, we have had a bit of a heat wave, so it's expected, but they're starting to now straighten out a bit because of the rain. That means that they're having a good amount of water in. But make sure you take all the beans, because if you take them, you'll create more flowers and then you'll end up with more beans. And the more you harvest, the more you'll have through the season. Tell you what, I'm getting a good little crop here. And this is one crop where you will make your money back in the garden. I mean, a little handful like that in the supermarket, you're talking a couple of pounds. So yeah, runner beans are definitely one of those things where you'll get the bang for your buck. Not bad indeed. It is so humid and muggy, but everything's settling in the garden now, which is what I'm liking. I'm liking the fact that we're getting harvest and the jobs aren't getting on top of me. You know, most of these jobs now are silly little weeding jobs. And yeah, I'm happy with the plot. There's always plenty of things that need to be done, but yeah, I am happy with it so far. I still want to try and get that shed sorted soon. We went from all that heat to now having some rainstorms, but I'm hoping the forecast for the next couple of weeks will settle down and I can finally start those blinking sheds. I keep finding more beans, and the more you look, the more you find, and the problem is you don't want to be missing them and then they become really, really gnarly. So these ones are just about going over, because if you see that the colour on the sides, now that indicates that this was a red runner bean inside. So because you see, like, it's kind of like the dye have come through. If I open this up, I know, yeah, see, there was a red bean inside. But yeah, I'll take these home and they'll be processed and popped in the freezer for winter. So last year I managed to have enough runner beans for family visiting and having like nice roasts all the way up to Easter. I'd like to get it to have an extra few more bags in the freezer so I can actually have enough until I harvest fresh, so there's no gap in between. So that's why I've done extra beans this year. I mean, it's probably an excess, but we'll see. You know, this is the thing about having your own allotment, is you know, you weigh up every single year and you think, okay, my life's changed a little bit for next year, so I'll do less of that, more of this. So next year I've decided I'm going to do more shallot, less main crops, and the beans, we'll see how we get on. I mean, that's the fun of having an allotment. You can do whatever you want and however much you want as well. So I popped the irrigation on for an extra water, moved a few of the stations over because I didn't realise that the actual cucumber plant wasn't getting any water. So now hopefully it'll start sharing the water. So come on. I'm so pleased with the zinnias in this bed. Now there were a few that actually didn't make it, like the neon green ones, the envy, but maybe they're still on their way, who knows. But I mean, some of these colours are absolutely stunning. I mean, there's so many different colours in these beds. This one's a favourite of mine. I think I got a feeling this might be raspberry ripple. And I mean, there's different peach colours and whites, yellows, and then also these nice ones here of pinks. But yeah, I'm definitely loving these like speckly coloured ones. But this is definitely my favourite. And the sunflowers, yeah, they're definitely showing. This one is absolutely stunning. I don't even know if you can pick up this orange, but it's neon orange, honestly. It glows like hell. It glows so much, and it's supposed to be called a velvet queen. Now, this isn't a velvet queen. I know for a fact this isn't, because a velvet queen sunflower is supposed to look like this. But instead, it looks like this, and I'm happy for it. I'm definitely going to be saving seed from this. This is absolutely glowing. The blauhilders are starting to come now as well. I mean, a few more days and I'll be picking these ones, but there's plenty of flowers. But due to the heat, I was worried that they'd all drop off and we wouldn't get many beans. I mean, we have had a few casualties, but yeah, at least we're getting some blauhilder beans. Over on this side, a wall of foliage, but I can see some blauhilders coming in here too. I was a little bit worried about these, that there weren't going to be any beans. These ones I grow every year and they store so well. I tend to use these in the later months because French beans tend to store better in the freezer, I find. But the blauhilder have always been a favourite of mine. I don't know if you're doing the same, but I'm already looking at seed lists for next year. I mean, we're still in July and I'm planning ready for next year. Some things are staying, some things are going. I keep saying I want to stake this up, so this has got to be a job very, very soon because I don't want this to snap. But I mean, it's almost 6 foot now, so yeah, I'm pleased with it so far. There's 2 of them. The other one is shorter. Then saying that, there is a bit of a slope, so maybe they're the same height. They'll catch up, I'm sure. So it's been a few days since I've last been here, and I've just been spending a lot of time. It's actually my birthday this week, so I've been trying to spend some time with friends and family, so it's been a bit of a juggle trying to include the plot into those celebrations. But yes, I've come over today. It's been a few days and I can see there's a lot more beans now to pick again. I mean, I'm picking so many, and I can see the corn, and I mean, I've been off from here for maybe 4 days, and I mean, that's quite a long time for me. I can see there's tomatoes coming outside, the Naginas are almost red. All the flowers on the extra runner bean trellis that I put up about a week or so ago, and also the onions are finally going out. Now, where to put this? Now, these are actually my staging from my polytunnel. There's a bee. There was a bee after me then. So I figured I'd place this across the actual beds. Now, I designed these to have bigger gaps than normal, and a lot of people said, oh Danny, that's probably not the best idea for holding pots, but I actually use trays a lot of the time. Granted, I think I should have put these a little bit closer together, but maybe I can modify that in the autumn. But today, it's definitely time to pull out the onions. Now, I've waited until it's rained, and the reason is because I want the soil to be quite soft, so I don't disturb the leeks that I've interplanted in here. Now, the idea is, actually, I've had another idea. I'm going to raise it up a little bit. Hopefully this will stay. And then I can do what I plan to do. Hopefully this works. There we go. So what I want to do is, I want to be able to drop these onions through the gaps. So, give them a tight little pull. I mean, these, I'm happy with these. Further up the bed, I'll show you in a second, they're huge monsters. I mean, I've got some decent onions here. These are all grown by set, and they were planted out in the start of spring. But some over there I'm so pleased with. Now, the idea is you drop them in here like this, they'll dry out for a few days, and then I'll store them all on racks in the greenhouse just to cure for a week or two, and then they should be able to feed me all over autumn and winter. Now, none of these are bolted out. Look at this one. I mean, honestly, you know when they're ready because the necks are quite loose. They will naturally do that, but some of these I've actually pushed over myself to kind of force the process. But they're nice and big and firm, and they sit in between the trellises. Some of them are a little bit small. That's okay. I mean, you're never going to get a perfect harvest of onions without having a few small ones and a few giant ones. But overall, I'm happy. After I've harvested all of these, I want to show you the ones I grew from seed. They were Elsa Craig. Oh my God, they have caught up with these. I'm going to leave them in for a little bit longer. Some are starting to drop over now, which I'll harvest them today and I'll show you them. Honestly, it's pushing me towards growing from seed because they are so healthy. They were planted out later than these, and they've almost caught up. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get a nice bumper harvest from this, and I didn't have many go to seed. It's been a great year for onions for me. And also the corn. The corns now are starting to brown off. They've come quicker than they should have, really, but I think that big boost of sun really did help. Now, if you haven't got like a racking system like this, that's okay. You can just lay them on the bed and they'll dry out. Leave them for maybe like a couple of days just for all the roots to dry out, take all the soil off. But I'm going to use this racking system because, well, one, I've got it, and two, when I want to move them all, I can just lift this up and they'll all just stay in there and hang down. But I mean, look at these onions. I mean, I've definitely changed my mind on growing onions in no dig beds. I've done them in the raised beds before with a lot of compost, and they always rot off. Like, they always, honestly, get all this white mildew at the bottom here, and then it rots the bulb. So I went back to my traditional ways of dig. This bed was dug, and I remembered when I first started having an allotment, I grew them all in a dig bed because that's all I knew. I'm not saying no dig hasn't got benefits, because a lot of this plot is no dig, but I thought, I've not had a good onion success for about 2-3 years now, and I thought, when was the last time I had a huge harvest of onions? And it was back when I put them straight in the ground, and I did the same here. I just popped the sets in the ground after it'd been, you know, dug, and look. So I think for onions, I'm definitely going to go back to dig. Now, if you've had successes with no dig, let me know, because my theory is that layer of compost on the top is holding moisture at the wrong times, and then that's what's creating this growing area for the mildew. Now, with dig bed, the drainage is much better, and we're producing onions like this. Honestly, I am absolutely thrilled with these onions. Look at them, they're absolute monsters, and I'm so thrilled that I took a gamble and thought, let's go back to my roots. And I mean, look at these, they're absolute monsters. So I'm just thrilled that I took that gamble of going back to dig for these. I know the benefits of no dig, and also there's pros and cons to both. But honestly, these have told me just to go back to what works for you. I mean, no dig might work for onions in other areas, or maybe there's a trick that you're doing. Let me know in the comments. But for me, I'm definitely going to be going back to digging the bed for the onions next year. Also, a little update as well on the red onions that I grew from seed. Now, if you can see, I put like 3 or 4 together. Some are not doing as well, but I'm sure they'll bulk up. But if you can see, they're growing okay. So if I wanted to now, I could pick that one at the back and let these two grow on a little bit bigger. But they're doing okay so far. They're a bit slow behind. But I think I'm going to get some more red onions later on in the season. There we go, so there's about 50 onions there now, all ready to dry out. Now you're probably wondering, what varieties are these so that you can grow them next year? So on this side of the bed, which I actually had a bigger harvest, they were the Centurions. So if you're thinking about getting nice big, huge bulbs like this, these are the Centurion. They're a little bit flatter, but yes. But I also had a mixed bag, but still some good successes with the Stuttgart and Giants. So they're not so bad either, but they're more of a round one. So they're the two that I did. But I also grew Ulster Craig from seed, and let me show you one of those now. So these are the Ulster Craig. Now they're not so bad. I grew these from seed, and there's a few that are a lot bigger than this, but these two have naturally crooked their necks. So, but they're a decent size, you know, and I'm happy with these. The fact that I've grown these from seed just shows that something that challenges you every year. Just keep trying, and you'll finally get it. I'm Danny, and this is Grow Up.